I'm assuming direct control.
G'day and welcome. Hildryn's reception into Warframe was lukewarm at best. Hildryn's sort of in the boat of Atlas when it comes to acquisition, having to kill a giant boss that can be a bit time consuming, though where the Jordis precept is Archwing, this one's out on Fortuna, and you've got to be ranked up with the Solaris United. Now, the reviews that you saw on Hildryn were not what you called a glowing report. A lot of people called her mediocre, and this was largely because no one took the time to go through, form her the amount of times that she requires, and then build her correctly. One of the things that tends to happen when people get their hands on a new Warframe is they always build towards the 4th ability. Now, there is a bit of a misconception with Warframe in general, thinking that the 4th ability is going to be the best ability. This is just not correct at all. And this thinking of, oh, you must build for the 4th ability, and that being their best ability, is inherently just wrong. Much like Chroma, Mag, Mirage, Rhino, and Wukong, Hildryn is not centered around her 4th ability. So I'm going to talk about the abilities now. First up is Balefire. This is an exalted first ability, so its base damage is dictated by how much power strength you have, and the actual statting of the weapon is done individually from the frame. The base damage type for Balefire is electric. So my personal recommendation here is you actually build it for radiation. There's several reasons as to why you would want to use radiation. Firstly, if there is a group of enemies all bunched up together, you can just simply fire it into them, and you're likely to proc a radiation status, if it does not kill them just up front. Secondly, if you're to be invaded by something such as the Wolf, radiation is very strong against these kind of invaders. Hildryn's second ability is Pillage. This is her main ability. This is the one that you want to be building for. Everything else falls into place as long as you build for this ability. When you cast this ability, it will remove a current percentage of the enemy's shield or armor. The percentage is dictated by how much power strength you have. To give a quick explanation of how this works, if you have 90% reduction, and the enemy has 100 armor, what will happen is you'll take 90 of their armor away. On the second cast, you'll only take 9 away. In low levels, you may not see much benefit from this, as the armor value that these mobs have in the lower levels is very little. They don't have much at all. But as you go up through the levels, this ability will scale regardless. Doesn't matter if they're level 100 or 5000, this ability will continue to scale throughout the game. This allows her to have a bit more leniency when fighting against the Grineer faction. Rather than having to use the typical, you're fighting against Grineer, take corrosive, you can easily just use gas or viral on her, and it'll be nearly just as effective. Unless you completely strip their armor, then it'll be more effective than corrosive. Now, the other thing that this ability will do is it will recharge your shield. The more enemies that you hit with this ability, the more charge it will return to you. This also allows you to gain an overshield. While Hildryn has her overshield, she is also immune to status procs such as Slash and Toxin. This ability can be casted while she is using Balefire or Haven. Also, if you're about to die because you're low on shield and you know you're about to go into shield gating, if you can cast this ability before that happens, you are likely to go into your shield gating and vulnerability phase, and then you'll come out of it with a full shield, allowing you then to be able to take enough damage to go back into that, or give you enough time to get away. Pillage, in my opinion, is one of the best abilities ever fitted to a Warframe. The fact that this ability can scale with the game, alleviate a mod slot, benefit an entire team, increase damage output, recharges your defenses, which is also your energy pool, can be cast while 2 of the other channeled abilities are running. It makes this ability just absolutely amazing. It is a very, very useful ability. It is very understated of how good this ability is. You don't need corrosive projection if you have a Hildryn on your team. She is both shield disruption and corrosive projection all in one. Next up, we have Haven. Haven is an ability that does several things all at once. The first thing it does is increase the recharge rate of allied shields. It also applies an overshield to said allies within range. And on top of that, it also allows these allies to gain Hildryn's passive of shield gating. This ability doesn't stop there though. it does damage in an AoE to any enemy in line of sight of Hildryn. On top of that, it also will stagger any lightweight unit. This is a channeled ability, so it will drain your shield, but you can still cast your 2 to regain that shield, and it also will help this ability deal increased damage. While you have an overshield, this ability deals double damage. Because of this ability, Hildryn is my go-to Warframe when it comes to doing things like a fission mission. If I'm doing a capture fission mission or an exterminate, I can just grab Hildryn, jump into the mission, put this on, and then run through the whole map, just spamming 2 every now and then it kills everything. It is like the old days of Ember, except for you require line of sight. It takes very little effort for it to kill anything. It can deal up to 600 or so damage a second, and if you go into overshield it's 1200 a second. It is enough to kill most things on the star chart without any real effort. There are a few little downsides to this ability. One of the main ones being when the Wolf of Saturn 6's little gremlins show up and you have to capture them, it will continue to drain your shield as long as they have not been captured. If they are within range, your ability will target them. But besides this ability is really useful. It is a great team ability, it helps your teammates stay alive, it does some damage, it provides some light CC. It is a very useful ability. Though it struggles in higher level content, you can still use it just for that light CC and that bit of extra damage being put out there. And lastly, we have Aegis Storm. This ability is not worth building for. Not now, not ever, there is no real reason for it. This ability is just a culmination of her first ability, her third ability, and Bastille. And to top it off, it makes you a slow-moving floating target. The best thing about this ability was the fact that they went back and fixed up Titania's evasion mod issue. The only thing this ability really gives you is the Bastille. It doesn't do any extra damage with her Haven, it doesn't do any extra damage with her Balefire, it doesn't increase the fire rate of her Balefire, even though she has 2. There is no real benefit for this ability. It just makes you a floating target, and it drains your shield. This is a very poorly designed 4th ability. It's just all flash, it's all show, it's to look cool, it sounds cool, but does it give you anything in return? No. You can't use your second ability, which is your most important ability. It allows you to do some damage. It drains your shield like no tomorrow. There is no point ever building for this ability. If you build for this ability, it is going to hamper every other ability you have. Here is my build. It's a large amount of power strength, some duration, neutral range, and you can tank efficiency. More power strength simply works like this with Hildryn. Base damage for Balefire is increased. Pillage's reduction percentage is increased by the power strength. And Haven's overshield to allies is increased, and so is also the damage it does to enemies. The one mod in this build that I'd say you could change is Streamline. You can easily get away with using 50% efficiency. You can throw in some extra range, another shield mod, shield recharge mod, whatever you bloody well fancy. Here we also have my build for Balefire. It is a crap ton of damage, and it's built for radiation, as you can see. Now, I know there's this Undying Hildryn build that floats around out there, aka a meme build. Here is what I have to say for people who build like this. If you want a Warframe that does no damage, doesn't die, play fucking Wukong, dickhead! So, that being said, I really do suggest picking Hildryn up. She is a solid Warframe. She is good at solos, she's great in the team, she's good on the short blast, and she's fantastic in the endurance. She's a really great all-round frame. I really do suggest picking her up, giving her a go, spending a bit of time and effort into fixing her up to be the best that she can be. She's a really good Warframe. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll do another video whenever I can be fucking bothered. Catch us later. Bye.